Hey, in this video I'm beating Elden Ring's DLC without leveling my weapons. The objective is to kill every remembrance boss in the DLC, no matter the order, and since I allowed myself to level up Skadu levels in my level 1 run, I am not allowed to level up them in this. You may think that it doesn't make any difference, and you are actually right, but for example in this situation, I would not get sent to the Shadow Realm in a microsecond. I started these runs because I wanted to de-rust in the game, and when you are rusted and the fights get longer, you are able to see some of the major problems in the boss fights. So I am going to give my 100% important rants about every boss at +0. This guy is actually crazy. This DLC has a lot of fights which at first you think, bro, what the fuck, this was pure bullshit, and you are right by thinking that. But a lot of the bosses too, when you learn the dynamics of the fight, it becomes a really good experience. He is one of these bosses that when you try to fight Lock It On, you have the most trash and shit experience you've ever had compared to like Jujutsu Kaisen. But when you realize how smooth the fight goes, when you are not Lock It On, is when the fight clicks. Basically every move is strafeable. It feels really good to jump a lot of his attacks. And visually the moves look really good, but not everything are fancies and yummies, and of course he has his major problems. His moves may look good, but at first they are quite non-intuitive. But this fact you can get over by just getting good at the game. But you won't get over the fact that his breath attack in the lightning form has the best tracking ever made in history. And you need to like be in a really soft spot to dodge it. And I don't know if his delayed lightning strikes have a pattern, but they are just bullshit. If you are at 60 vigor and not wearing a good armor and not leveling the Skadu levels, you are get half health by this. I had some problems with the AoEs that he gets while he's in the wind and ice phases, but that was not much of a problem. Playing against him was fun until it wasn't. Sometimes you just die for some bullshit and it makes the learning process of the boss really frustrating. The low damage build forces you to experience every move that the boss has, and when you are forced to deal with multiple lightning phases in one fight, it isn't fun. Now just check out this Ultimate Gamer Victory Royale Goku Ultra Instinct moment that I had. Everything considered, easy B tier. The Karen Baddies got a new member and Rilana came to show her great pair of twin moons. If you liked Sullivan from DS3, you surely will like her. She's just him but better. For me, the best way to play against her was to outspace her combos, usually like I play against Malenia. You really need to bait the entire combos because it's when she gives her punish windows. If you go too far, she just stops the attacks and you probably won't be able to punish her back anymore. But yeah, her attacks flows really well, mainly if you're fighting at closer range. From my experience, she works really well at mid-range, mainly if you are light rolling. The fight if you are mid-rolling is really bad actually. Strafing her attacks is harder but completely doable, and some of her attacks can be jumped, which may give some more seconds to punish her. An interesting thing that this fight has is that she seems to not give you punish windows, but she actually does, because she have a lot of situational follow-ups and combos, which gives you the opportunity to manipulate the follow-ups and know exactly the punish windows that you are going to have. The problems I had with her were basically on the second phase. Sometimes she just decides you won't play anymore and makes you cuck watch her combo in the win. And at the second phase, she really likes to spam the glint blades, mainly when she does the big sword attack and the twin moons. And when my damage came basically from the poison, and in the second phase she's just too cracked. She's the best player ever created. I was basically caged with a League of Legends player that got ganked and lost 5 minion waves. A tier. Putrescence Knight. Here I thought I was fucked. This guy doesn't bleed, frostbite, or get poisoned. I thought I would need to kill him with the pure and disgusting damage of my weapons, but actually no, he can get Scarlet Rotted. And since Miyazaki gave me every consumable in the game, I used Rot Grizzlies to melt him. And I could have used the Antspurt, yes, but yeah, I forgot. I actually like this guy. I don't think he's really that bad. He's not that complex. Outside of he being immune to almost every status effect, I didn't have any problems. His moves have some weird timings, but he doesn't have much moves to play around, and his punishable moves are clearly shown in your face. Outside of that, I wouldn't say that I had any problems with him. I am more disappointed actually with this boss. Man, you got the craziest anticipation ever created, a whole build up to the area, up to the boss fight, but when you get into it, the area is lacking and boring, and they really could bring something out of the box, mainly because of the geographics of the area. And when you get to the most straightforward area ever created and face the boss, you have a huge callback to Midier's entrance, but it's just this guy, a horse made of shit and a guy made of vomit, and his face looks like an emoji. The boss doesn't have anything special, he doesn't even try to innovate, and that's strange because in theory the coffins should be one of the most important areas lore-wise of the DLC. It should be a great revelation, so I think it would be logical that they should have gone crazy with this area and the boss, but they didn't, and that happens. C tier. Now, if the guy before was mid, this one is crazy. My boy Mesmer is probably the best boss in the DLC, and he has a really good division between flashy and spectacular moves, and simplistic dodges and workarounds. He remembers me a lot of Dark Souls 3 boss fights. His moves flow in a way that by just looking his animations you can predict what the move will be. With just reaction and reading without even knowing his moveset, you can deal with pretty much every move that he has. He has some dangerous timings, but he rewards you really well with his punish windows, and that works really good because it is clear that the game wants you to keep close at him. Since a lot of his hitboxes punish you at safer ranges, you are incentivized and rewarded to play aggressive against him, and honestly, I don't have any problems with him. The fight gone really well, even with me dying sometimes. But even when I died, I felt it was because a misplay of my part and not because some bullshit. And don't get me wrong, he has some minor bullshits, like his funny almost frame trap double swipe and his instant snake AoE. But that's more of a problem for a no-hit run or a level 1 run, and everybody knows no one is sucker enough to do a run like this, right guys? And just a funny fact that they gave a really cool and good looking arena with a huge presentation and anticipation for a fucking emoji horse boss fight, and for the guy that is the poster of the DLC, they just gave him his gamer room. That's really sad. I wish he had a volcano exploding with a dragon flying around him. Easy S tier. Gaius is a really good boss. He does all the fundamentals of a good boss fight in a From Software game. He has punish windows, funny moves to play around, simple workarounds, but his major problem is that he's just too simple. The way he works, his moves, doesn't have that interesting variety and unpredictability of top tier boss fights. Pick Morgoth or Malenia for example. They have basically everything that Gaius has, the good movesets, the punish windows. Of course, I'm not considering Waterfall Dance, but what they have different from Gaius is the dynamic moveset that almost adapts to where you are to keep the fight more dynamic, and I don't feel that with Gaius. Looks like he has the same two moves that he likes to spam. It is something more like with Gaius, where a tic-tac-toe Malenia in Morgoth would be a chess. or something like that. You can clearly tell the amount of time someone put into learning a boss fight when you see someone with 200 hours and someone with 1000 hours fighting Malenia. Someone with 1000 hours probably would know to extract every punish window that Malenia has. He would optimize the most the way he plays to punish Malenia in windows that someone with 200 hours would not see. And with Gaius, if you have someone with 200 or 1000 hours, they are probably fighting Gaius in the same way. And of course, outside he being too simplistic, he has his trash charge and his annoying black hole that both doesn't even add that much to the fight. Outside of that, he is a good boss, a decent boss, and his fight doesn't actually change much at +0. He just got destroyed. A B tier. Okay, here I really thought that the run was over. She was the real wall that I had to climb in this run. Meteor in the first phase is really chill. Her moves are nothing special. They are more like something you would see in a Bloodborne fight or in a mid-DS3 fight. Some monstrous attack, monstrous slam, monstrous double swipe, monstrous triple swipe. It is a pretty okay moveset for a first phase. She just have a weird and annoying hitbox on her body when she does his headbutt on the ground, but okay. Now, the second phase. For me, a good boss in a Souls game should be designed in a way that you should be beatable with the player taking any hits, because it would mean that no matter the player, if the player gets good enough, he will be able to dodge every move that the boss has. Every boss should be made in a no-hit perspective. It is the best way to confirm that every move of the boss have a workaround. Now, considering this way of thinking, what is this second phase? Honestly, I get the point of the spectacle of the fight, but it don't need to be bullshit just because it is spectacular. Bale and Mesmer are good examples of this. Just the opening of the phase already is ridiculous. The move just consumes 50% of the arena in a giant hitbox. But after you deal with the most nonsense and anti-consumer attack ever created, normally you would ask yourself, well, how I dodge it? And it probably would mean that you just don't know the intended way to dodge or deal with the attack. But in this case, if you ask yourself how to dodge this fucking explosion, well, you can dodge. You just need to run to the other side of the world. Like, that easy. Is that really the true way From Software intended you to dodge this shit? And not enough, in the second phase you can just summon minions to help her, and these minions don't go away until you kill them. And what is this? She got a new ranged AoE spam attack. Cool. Wow, she can do a fidget spinner attack that is bearably undodgeable. Any move that she has, the minions, the opening explosion, the fidget spinner, nothing is compared to this. You know, gamma ray bursts, quasars, supernovas, they are the most energetic and powerful events known in the universe. They are often related to the born or collision of black holes and neutron stars. And since From Software always prioritized the immersion and the realism in their games, it is most likely that they would make the attack that looks like a gamma ray burst to be unavoidable, undodgeable, and brother, I don't know. I was using the same setup in every fight until now. I was using a frost starfish with a poison venomous thing, but just because this one move, I had to change my setup. But guys, to be fair, you can dodge the attack if you run and avoid 80% of the arena, because the attack just consumes everything created. And yeah, that's really fair, like completely fair. I tried everything to deal with this attack. I tried to kill her with poison, with the poison mist Ash of War. I tried to kill her with consumables, just to avoid the mere possibility of she doing the laser attack. I tried to pray to Miyazaki, but like the Antichrist, matter is a part of the influence of her god. But then something clicked. I remember that I had the best NPC killer in the game, and the NPC killer is nothing but a shield. And then I faced the coldness of the infinite universe with my gold shield, and I blocked until I was winner. That's the indomitable human spirit.
Eu sou o Elden.
Cara, que lindo! Ela não teve filhos no meio da luta até agora.
Ela invoca um sim.
Ó, Andrei, corta isso,
Opa.
corta isso.
É.
Linda, ela não teve filhos, corta isso, velho.
Que linda, ela não teve uma porra de espontâneo. Fala assim.
Caralho, é isso, cara. Esperava.
Bota bem pouquinho, quero ver se o Nicolas vai dar uma fumble na vida dele.
Nem gostei dessa.
Eu sou o
Quando
Elden
chegar
Ring
na hora
de
da-
novo, mano.
Ah,
mano.
O Elden Ring?
Ele vai matar, ele vai matar. Vai acabar o sofrimento dele.
Você é o Elden Ring mesmo.
Aí ele matou já, né?
Você é o Elden
ちゃんといてえじゃねえかよ
E tier. Now that the trash been taken out, now we are talking about heavy hitters. Bale is easily the best dragon fight from software ever made, and probably one of the best boss fights they ever created. He's the perfect combination of spectacle and practical. In one hand you have Fire Giant and Estelle and Meteor with those insane attacks that don't have a consistent or practical workaround, and in the other hand you have Bale that mix insane visuals with simple ways to deal with. Bro, you can literally jump his nuclear explosion. If his nuclear explosion were in Meteor boss fight, the attack would be undodgeable, instant, and would decrease your maximum health by 80%. He's really a huge callback to Meteor, and you are incentivized to fight him face to face, and not running around hitting his middle finger like in Placiduous Axe fight. I don't have much to say other than he is a masterfully crafted fight. I really discuss his breath attacks though, but to be fair, it isn't a Bale fault, it is more like an Elden Ring system fault. Unfortunately, when he does his forward breath and you are too far away, it becomes pretty much impossible to dodge without getting hit, and in the second phase he really likes to spam this attack, plus he gets way more aggressive and mobile, what makes the fight takes way longer. But it isn't that much of a problem because debouncing in his breath, it becomes a real threat when you are far away, so you can position yourself in a medium range. And he being mobile in the second phase could be a problem because his poise resets way more frequently and my poison buildups would take way longer to proc, but I was getting fun, so yeah, all the times that I died to him I felt that was because I misplay and not because I bullshit, and for me that's pretty much enough. Easy S tier. Romina is one of these bosses that you fight and immediately forget what you just have done. She doesn't stink, but she isn't fragrant. Kinda bad that she's a mandatory encounter because she's just pretty underwhelming. Her moveset isn't that remarkable, but yet have some atrocious things like the instant AoE that she likes to do in her second phase, and to worse things more, the AoE is actually scripted in her transition to the second phase. Her moveset is simple and I doesn't have much to say about it. It covers the basics with some stereotypical attacks like the classic boss roll move or the whoa ground pound, but in her case they made it in the most boring and non-impressive way. To be fair, sometimes she goes crazy with the combos and spicy up a little the fight, but in general this combo is just bullshit because of the amount of frame traps that the combo has. She has moves with the most atrocious hitboxes ever created by mankind. Both the centipede and the scorpion attacks have a good idea involved. The centipede covers a lot of the ground and the scorpion tries to sting you, but it doesn't matter because the attacks just have a trash hitbox. These attacks and the mega combo were a real problem, since if I got hit by any instance of the combo I would basically die because the frame traps and the damage that she does, and the centipede attacks could half me easily, and it could happen very often because, as I said, the hitbox in these attacks are just trash. So to resume the fight, I just avoided her and stayed at range and baited the long jump that gives me an easy punish window, which clearly is a really fun playstyle.
What that?
C tier. I wouldn't talk about Leda in this video because the main point is to cover the remembrance bosses, but I think it is worth to mention because I actually have one good thing to say about this encounter. At least the fight looks good in the first playthrough, and that's it. The fucking fight is just trash, and some rare and singular Leda fight fan could say, well, you cannot say that the fight is trash when you are not prepared, leveled up, or upgraded. Of course the fight will go bad. Look at the way you are playing the game. Yeah, my little stupid funny guy. If you didn't notice, I have already killed 8 of the main bosses in this exact situation. But I killed them because they weren't good boss fights? No, I killed them because I had my practice, and with enough time, I was able to kill them while dealing a little damage. And that's where pretty much the magic comes with these games. You can overcome a lot of the situations of the game with just pure skill and practice. You don't really need to play around the actual progression of the game if you are good enough. But yeah, what happens is that in Elden Ring you have a lot of these encounters that no matter your skill or how good you are, they are just pain and suffering. Gideon, Godskin Duo, Leda, Renala, Meteor, all examples of encounters that if you are not how the game intended you to be, you are going to be disrespectfully touched and humiliated by them. And that's fucking stupid. And it isn't just enough to put 1 gazillion NPCs in the DLC. You need to put a fight with at least 2 NPCs at the same time and both with 1 gazillion health. If you don't call the other NPCs to help you, you are going to be fucked balls deep, and the game won't even give you the chance to fight back. Just Gideon tier. The so-called most unfair boss fight from Soft ever created, and he actually was. Consort Redan is a way more enjoyable fight right now, though I still think that the nerf was a bit too much. The undodgeable cross combo were trash and had to be fixed, and the technical performance of the fight in general were bad. Even high NPCs suffered from the flashbangs, but yet I think if they just fixed the frame trap cross combo and improved the performance of the fight, it will be just enough. I don't really think that make the boss way slower was a good decision, at least for me. But yeah, he's still a really good boss fight. His moves in general are fun to play around, and it almost feels like a rhythm game. But now, I don't know, it is probably because I have fought Consort Redan a lot pre-nerf, and for me it is still strange to see how he behaviors. Sometimes he may look like lobotomized, I don't know. But at least now he has a lot of openings to attack. In general, a pretty good boss fight. and it went really well in this run. Fighting him at +0 actually made the fight funnier. The bad take I have for him is that I think for him being the last boss from a From Software DLC, he lacks the actual spectacle that other bosses have in the Shadow of the Earth Tree. Like, you have the world colliding attacks of Bale and the snakes in Mesmer's ass. I feel like it isn't even fair to compare, but it may be just my impression. But I don't know, he could do some crazy flips or made his moveset more flashy or acrobatic like Gale's from Rigid City, or maybe do some dynamic changes in the arena based on how much health he has. And at the end, even with him being the last boss, the grand finale, he's not a good mix of visuals and mechanical fight like Bale is. His delayed beams are annoying and some of his attacks feel inconsistent to dodge, mainly because of the trash arena. It isn't news that From Software bosses doesn't quite work well in not plain terrains, and this fight is no difference. It feels more like good ideas being wasted by the limited engine of the game. S tier. This Sunflower gets more interesting when you understand better the fight, but even then it feels like more a wasted potential. The fight isn't actually bad, but it is underwhelming. You have another boss that have a huge presentation being just a silly flower. To be fair, every Souls DLC isn't safe from mid or bad bosses. In the S1 you have the Sanctuary Guardian. In the S2, you have pretty much every DLC boss. In the S3, you have the Gravetender, the Half-Light, and in Elden Ring you have, for example, the Skadu 3 avatar. At least it has a good complexity progression between the three phases. It gets more follow-ups and moves, but it isn't nothing special. The moveset isn't much of a problem to deal with. It is just tricky because of the trashy AoEs that the boss likes to spam. A good thing is that the boss take a lot of fire damage, just like the Earth Tree avatars. So even at +0, I was able to deal a non-subhuman damage to it. And like some bosses of the DLC, being average doesn't mean you are absent from having bad or garbage details, like every attack that involves the impenetrable thorns, rubbish hitbox, trash execution, just fuck them. And I don't know if I am the annoying guy or something, but the boss is a flower, a plant. It is literally rooted on the ground. So why making the boss do these bizarre dashes around? Why not make the boss, let me guess, rooted, and make the boss work around terrain control or something like that? I don't know. I think some of these bosses have some mis-themed moves in their movesets. The plant that dashes around like Irelia from League of Legends, the centipede that cosplays Godskin Noble from Elden Ring series, the horse that just horses around. They could go a little more crazy with these guys and following the core concept of the boss fight. B tier. Jury is actually the best boss From Software ever created. The fact that he is a caster that have unstoppable teleports and is able to summon minions to help him is a brilliant idea. The fact that he looks like one of these really good and interesting enemies just shows how much love and interest and excitement they put in this encounter. I just adore the way you have to loop him by backstabbing him if your character isn't the way From Software wanted it to be. The fact that if you miss the loop, you are going to regret the very first moment you interacted with a video game in your life, because this very first moment contributed indirectly with your encounter with this boss today. Now that's a good talking. Midra is a perfect example of the simple done extremely well. The fight doesn't have the crazy, flashy, stunning, and groundbreaking visuals. You don't need to be a PhD to understand his movesets, but yet he's just too good. He is a boss experience that reminds me a lot of the DS3 ones. You have more elaborate movesets with the simplicity and clear, obvious punish windows. The main thing that makes bosses feel rewarding to learn and kill is the process of you being able to recognize and optimize your punishes on them by strafing, rolling on the right timing, jumping. A good boss experience gives you the kind of sandbox to optimize your damage windows on them, and unlike Meteor, the learning process feels good, and the more you give time to learn the fight, more windows you can see. And that's funny because with Meteor, the more you try to find them, the more you realize that in the second phase the best playstyle is to bait the flying spin, then you attack twice and run to the other side of the arena. If I would pick a bad thing to say about him, it is related to his not that complex moveset, because his moveset is pretty chill to deal and he gives you a lot of openings. This becomes a problem to the fight because he just got 80 poise, and that is the lowest poise a major boss can get in this game. You can stunlock him with pretty much every weapon type, and that makes the fight being more a riposte animation than an actual fight. And that's another thing that is more personal for me. I don't know if it was because the unimaginable hype and expectations I had with this DLC, but in my first fight with Midra, I expected him to be more a 3 phases boss fight or something like that. Not only this fight, but with pretty much every fight I had this sensation. For example, they could give Mesmer and Redan 2 health bars, and I think it would make a huge difference in their fights. But yeah, that's probably my impression. Gale, for example, only have 1 health bar and he's still a very good boss, but I wish they came back with the crazy 3 or 4 phases boss fights that could break the internet, or just a troll second phase like the ape from Sekiro. He's an easy S tier. Now that's pretty much it for this video. Leave a like and subscribe if you liked the video. Type horrible things that you wish that happened to me if you dislike the video. And let me know if you agree, disagree, and your takes about these bosses. And thank you if you watched the entire thing.